So we're actually at 7:30. Welcome everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started by having the interpretation explained to us.
All right, thank you. I will go ahead and explain the process for interpretation. Let's see. Good afternoon. In order to provide language access, we will be providing interpretation into Spanish. So I will go ahead and give the announcement in Spanish and then we can begin. Buenas tardes, esta reunión contará con interpretación simultánea al español. Si usted es bilingüe, no tiene que presionar nada. Si usted no es bilingüe, tendrá que elegir su idioma para escuchar la interpretación. Si está usando una computadora, verá un icono en la parte de abajo de su pantalla a la derecha en forma de globo que dice interpretación. Haga clic ahí y seleccione español. Si está usando un iPad o su teléfono, localice el menú de 3 puntos arriba, haga clic en donde dice interpretación de idiomas y elija español. May I now please ask the host to assign me as interpreter number 2 and press the blue update button. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you all. You'll notice that you're muted and you can't talk. So that's just the style of the webinar. But we do want you to engage with us. So if you look at the bottom of the webinar screen, you will see a Q&A box. So please put your questions in the Q&A box. It will allow everybody to see your question. And then we'll also answer them as you ask them. And then if there's a question that needs to be elevated, so the whole group and for me to respond, that will happen as well. You can chat with us, but no one sees your chat questions, only we do as panelists. We really would prefer for you to use the Q&A because everybody can see your questions. And please write your questions in English or Spanish, whatever preferred language you have. So we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen with you with our presentation. Hold on. Okay. And Kaylee, confirming that we have our student as a panelist. I think she was able to join finally. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to Santa Barbara High School, home of the Dons. A lot of you came this week for Dons Derby, and thank you for coming to our Derby drive-through style. And you got to see our beautiful building. At some point this year, we'll all get to be together at Santa Barbara High School. So this is the administrative team. They're all here this evening, and I'll have them introduce themselves in a moment. But we are here to serve you. We are here to help you with anything you may have questions about. You can see our emails there. And so again, I am Dr. Elise Simmons, the very proud principal of Santa Barbara High School. And I'm going to have the team introduce themselves. Let's begin with Mrs. Villaseñor.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee Villaseñor. I'm assistant principal who oversees seniors and technology.
And Mr. Razzo?
Hello everyone, I'm Fred Razzo. I'm an assistant principal here at the high school and I work with grades 9 and 10. Welcome.
And Mr. DuPont?
I'm Dan DuPont, one of the other assistant principals, and I work with 11th graders and curriculum.
And Mr. Mendoza?
Hi everyone, I'm Nate Mendoza. I'm the Dean of Students and I see grades 9 through 12.
Okay, so this is the team. Again, we're here to help. Email us is the quickest way to get a response from us, and we can help you with anything. And if we don't know the answer, we know someone that does, and we'll make sure that we connect you with that person. En español. Wanted to begin just with a quick review of our district vision for all learners is to accelerate the development of global learners. And we're grounding our work in the Multilingual Excellence Transforming Achievement, the META plan. And the similarities between both of these things involves diversity, honoring, celebrating, and recognizing diversity and the different multicultural influences of our community, of our students, and a strong emphasis on creating multilingual, flexible thinkers, critical thinkers that work together well in teams. Because that is what we need to be able to basically live in this new world that we're experiencing right now. So the Santa Barbara High mission and vision, we prepare students for a world that is yet to be created. And when this is a new mission statement. It's also, the district shares it as well. And when it came up and approved last year, the world was very different. And so we can see that this rings true more and more every day. In order for us to engage in this world, we do need to be flexible, we need to be creative, we need to be solution oriented, and we need to be collaborative. And that's exactly what we're going to do to help your children acquire and develop those skills as well. We have an instructional focus, which is students will be able to make a claim and justify it with reasoning and evidence. All teachers in all content areas are going to work on that. And essentially what we're doing is we're helping your children become better at arguing with you. So instead of just asking for something and just saying, well, because they're actually going to get better at providing you reasons and data and justifications. And hopefully, again, the goal of all that is to make them critical thinkers and to look at evidence and different perspectives. At Santa Barbara High School, we support the whole child. And what that means is we're really focusing on their academic, their behavior, and their social emotional. It's more than just about the learning process. So we will, and you're going to see that through our slide deck, all the different ways that we support the whole child. One of the newest ways, and I think is just a wonderful gift to our students, every student in 4th through 12th grade in the Santa Barbara Unified School District will have access to online tutoring. It's called Paper, and you can see there how your child can get this online tutoring on their iPad. It's 24/7. One-on-one tutoring. It also can be small group tutoring. And a lot of it is all texting, so communicating, messaging, as well as whiteboard, so it's not video tutoring. And this can help students in any of their content areas, as well as students can submit their essays and get feedback. One of the reasons why I really like this is not only is it 24/7 and it's free, but also the conversations are being transcripted. And the tutors are actually credentialed teachers. They're trained in supporting students academically, but they're also trained in recognizing red flags or things that are concerning, maybe social emotional concerns. And they will communicate with administration if something comes up that they see as a concern. So I really like this for many reasons, for the academic reasons, but also, again, we're supporting our students social emotional as well. Speaking of that, here's another amazing team, our counselors. And counselors are, they're given a caseload based on your child's last name, which does change a little bit each year. Because we try to keep the numbers about the same, but here they are. Here's the caseload for this year. And actually, we have Marcy here with us, our head counselor. She didn't know I was going to do this, but I did promote her to panelist. And so she's here and she can answer any of your questions if you want. And I might have her see if she'll come on, but we'll see at Q&A. Because I will stop periodically and say, are there any questions? And that will allow us to also answer them. But here's our amazing counseling team. And we also have Spencer Barr here in the webinar as well. And if there's questions specifically for, we'll get there, the College and Career Center, we'll have Spencer chime in. So the other really wonderful thing resource we have at Santa Barbara High is the College and Career Center. we have a credentialed counselor that works in the center. His name is Mr. Barr. There's his picture and his email. And we're actually the only high school that has that. And it's because of the Foundation for Santa Barbara High School. The parent donations and community donations that go to this organization benefit all of our students. And one of the things that they fund is a college and career counselor. We also have Seno that works in the center. She's bilingual, and she's also a wonderful resource. And the College and Career Center is a very dynamic place. Students are there all the time. So one of the things that has been difficult for all of us is how do we translate what we normally do in person to virtual? And so the counseling team, as well as the college and career counseling team, they're trying to figure out how do we do virtual college visits, or the college reps coming in, how do we do hands-on one-on-one financial support, or applications. And so we're working through it all, and I'm always impressed with the creativity that our counselors have in making just things work in this virtual world. Another amazing resource that we have is our family community liaison, Maria Jimenez, and you can see the picture of her there and her email. And she works as a liaison between our families, our school, and then a lot of community resources. One of her major responsibilities is the SBHS Strong. That is another fund that because of the Foundation for Santa Barbara High School and because of the donations from our community and from our families, we're able to provide money to families that have critical needs. During the emergency remote learning of the spring, they were able to raise over $60,000 that we're able to disseminate to families. And we are continuing that. So if you know a family in need, if you are in need, please reach out to Maria Jimenez, and we will work with you on supporting you or the family that you're referring. And if you'd like to donate, later on there's going to be, you'll hear from Katie, and she'll share with you how you can donate. Oh, Maria will also be the person to go to she's setting up NEO trainings. And I know as new families, if you have not been in the Santa Barbara Unified School District, you're probably wondering what is this thing called NEO? And it's our learning management system. It's where teachers are going to share all of the resources, their lessons for the teaching and learning. It's where they post grades. It's where students submit their work. And so it's a real dynamic tool, but it's also, we have to help you understand it. So Maria is going to create a series of workshops for you that will be webinars, but also more hands-on Zoom meetings and things like that. So look for those coming soon. I'm going to pause for questions that you may have. Please remember to use the Q&A box so that people can see your questions. Do we have any? Okay, so we're going to keep going. By the way, this webinar is being recorded in an English and a Spanish version, and then it will be uploaded on our website in a couple of days. And also, this slide deck will also be there, so you can reference it later. And you'll notice there's hyperlinks in here, and you can click on them, and it'll give you some more information. So here we do have one question. Are the teachers going to are they going to be in contact with the students before Tuesday? Yes. So you are going to receive, probably starting tomorrow, maybe over the weekend, but definitely by Monday at noon, we're asking all of the teachers to communicate with their students through NEO. And in that communication, it will, be a welcome and then the Zoom code for them to join the Zoom meeting. We are also hoping that the Parent Square will be ready to go. We're working with our district office on that, and hoping that teachers again will be able to communicate via Parent Square directly to their classes as well as through NEO. So look for something on Monday around afternoon time. And right now, another question has to do with what can I do for my kid to see his classes? So there's a couple of things. You should have a paper copy of the schedule if you've completed the registration process. And if you have not completed the registration process, you probably are getting a lot of Parent Square messages or personal phone calls from us. If you have completed the registration process, you should have gotten a piece of a schedule at Dawn's Derby. Also, it got sent out via Parent Square. And on Monday evening, you'll be able to access all student classes through Aries. Right now, you can't see anything because we still have quite a few people that need to complete the registration process. And it's an all or nothing thing. We can't just say, oh, some people get to see their schedules and some don't. And so we're going to open it up on Monday evening. Great questions. We're going to keep going. So I'm going to turn this over to Cielo Saeed. There she is. Great. Cielo is, I'll have her unmute herself. And she is this year's senior class president. So she's going to share with you, from a student perspective, some hints and tips.
Yeah, for me, I really liked communicating with my teachers, especially as a junior, so that I can get that one-on-one with my teacher. They can get to know me so that I can later on ask for recommendation letters and, get that head start for colleges. But to do that, I usually stay some time, like 15, 20 minutes, even 10, just to ask some questions after class. I know this, like, internet-wise, like, the way that we're doing it now is kind of confusing, but I've noticed with the last, last period of time that we had for Zooming with our teachers, usually we kind of, like, once the teacher was like, oh, we're gonna end it now, I would say, Miss so-and-so, can I stay like 15 minutes after class just to clarify some questions that I have? But it was really easy, and the teachers are very understanding, and they respond pretty quickly through email and Neo. So those are the two main ones that I use to contact my teachers, and they're really open to it. They love questions. And so, yeah, leadership is working on ways to bring students together in a safe and virtual manner. And we have an Instagram, which is SPHS Dawns, and then Facebook for mainly parents that use Facebook, which is Santa Barbara High School official Facebook page. And yeah, most teachers really like us to reach out, and we also encourage all our friends and parents to ask any questions that they have, because it's definitely a difficult time. So as many questions as you have, just ask them. It's really easy to answer, and you'll get the help that you need.
Cielo, can you talk a little bit about the importance of developing a routine?
Oh yeah, consistency is very, very necessary, especially working from home, because you have your bed right next to you, so it's like you just want to jump on it. But I recommend to all new students to find a place that isn't your bed, so that you can, have that bed to work ratio where you're not falling asleep while doing your work and in classes. So I recommend, like, sitting at the kitchen table, or if you have a desk, sit at a desk. Teachers are really good with Neo, and if you, like, literally, if you have any questions, ask them. They will really help you. And if you needed to, if you don't have the chance to join their teacher, like the office hours, email them and they'll make time for you, because they know what's going on. So yeah, consistency is really necessary. If you can, make a schedule, have a planner, have a certain amount of time for each class, so that you can, space out your work. If you have questions, leave it blank and then come back to it later once you ask your question. So yeah, I really liked highlighters. Highlighters are my best friend in a planner. I like to cross out things. I'm a student that is very persistent with being able to check something off once I finish it. So yeah, I really like planners. If you can get one, it's really nice. So yeah, I like consistency with work and planners.
Thank you, Cielo. So I'm going to have you stick around if we're going to have another Q&A session and our moment, a break. And then if people have questions for you, we'll have you stick around, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. So there we go. I had a feeling it was right after that. So any questions that you may have for our student and from her perspective about some hints and tips about how to do well at Santa Barbara High? See if there's any questions. Let's see. My son is going. Okay, so it's a question that's not for you, Cielo, but I'll answer it. It's about students that have an individual education plan or IEP. And so in general, if a student, so every student that has an IEP also has a case manager. And that should be the go-to person. That case manager is in constant communication with the counselor as well as with all of the students' teachers. So there is a layer more of support for students that have an IEP or an individual education plan. So we're going to keep going. Last chance to ask Cielo, and you can ask her if there's another question that pops up. She's going to stick around, and so she'll be able to answer any of your questions. Okay. So the school schedule, we have a brand new school schedule, and it was decided in the summertime based on input from our staff, from our students. And we are moving to what we call the 4x4 schedule, which means students have 4 classes in the fall and 4 classes in the spring. These classes are year-long classes. So it means that students will have the opportunity to take more classes than they normally would have, which is a great opportunity. So the day begins at 9:15 and it ends at 3:15. You'll see that the classes are about an hour long, not about, they are exactly an hour long. There's a break in between. There's a long lunch break, which you might go, why is there such a long lunch break? And that has to do with couple of things. During distance learning time, students may have to come to a campus to get the free grab and go lunch. Many of our students are socioeconomically disadvantaged, and so the free lunches is something that they greatly look forward to. The other reason for that long lunch break, when we are shifting to a hybrid schedule, will allow for us to safely serve our students in the cafeteria, as well as allow us sanitation time. And that's also why the breaks between classes are also 15 minutes. It's gonna, during hybrid time, it will allow for students to safely travel to their next class and allow for the teachers and the students to sanitize the classroom. Hybrid, what that would look like, it would be, students would be broken into 2 cohorts, a cohort A and a cohort B. A's would attend on Monday, B's on Tuesday, and they would just kind of rotate back and forth. There is another model, which is what we call full return, even though it's really not. Students are still in the cohort model, and they would attend in the cohort A would attend in the morning, and they would only attend periods 1 and 2. Cohort B would attend in the afternoon, and they would attend their periods 1 and 2. The next day, it would be same thing, morning, but periods 3 and 4, and then afternoon, periods 3 and 4, and it would rotate. So students would be at school every day. So that is what their schedule looks like for right now. And I'm going to head on to the Spanish one. There you go. And I know there's a question for Cielo, which we'll get to in a moment. There is another Q&A sort of break. And it's a great question, and I'm glad someone asked it. It has to do with how do we help our incoming freshmen connect with each other, or students that are new. So we'll get to that. One of the things I just want to assure you, especially if so I just want to assure you that we will have rigorous teaching and learning. The experience that teachers and students had and parents had during the springtime and the emergency remote learning time was that experience, and we've learned from it. We've learned our strengths. We've earned where opportunities for growth or where we didn't do well. So we've been working really hard to make sure that the experience that you have and that your children have is one that is rigorous, data-driven, relevant, engaging, and inclusive. So a couple things that I just want to assure you. If you attended the distance learning webinar last week, you may have heard the same things. My teachers have already seen these and they're going to hear it again tomorrow. But I think the more we say it, the more it will happen, right? So just one thing, we'll all be using Neo. It's a standardized platform. Now, teachers may have other applications or applications that they use to support learning, but it all will be coming from the hub of Neo. And teachers will post their syllabus, which includes common expectations, an overview of the curriculum, grading policy, and their office hours. So office hours are new for us this year, but they're not really new because office hours are, if you think of it in CLO, sort of, she talked about it, in time where we're at school, you could easily just go by and visit your teacher at lunchtime and say, hey, can I get some extra help? Or you could say after class for a little bit and get some help. That doesn't happen. We can't do that now, right? So teachers are establishing consistent weekly hours for students to be able to pop in and get some extra help or just connect with the teacher. Those will all be posted on Neo, and those will be posted before the first day of school and translated in English and Spanish. And the one thing you should know that students will be engaged for 60 minutes each day, and they will also expect 15 to 30 minutes of other work that's above and beyond the classwork, and I'll go into more detail right now. So during Zoom time, during class time, these are a long list of things you might expect. Okay, and every day is going to be a little bit different. What I am impressing upon you and my teachers and the students is I don't want one of the two extremes to happen. Number one, you shouldn't, the teacher should not be talking at you for the entire 60 minutes like I'm doing to you tonight. Okay, so that should not be happening. The other extreme is teachers should not be you saying, popping in, hello, I'm glad you're here today. I'm going to take attendance. Now I just need you to quietly work on this assignment. And then that's it. And then maybe at the end, it's like, okay, thank you for a great day. So it's just like 60 minutes of quiet time. So those are the two extremes that we're going to hope that does not happen. So, in between that, you're going to see these other sorts of activities. For example, you might hear, or your child might say to you that their teacher let them turn off their video and do quiet independent work for like 15 minutes. That's okay. And just think about that in a classroom setting. It would be the equivalent of, okay, class, here's your quiet reading assignment, and go ahead and work independently on that while I monitor and walk around. So that's going to happen as well in a Zoom room. You will also, there's this asynchronous time, that 15 to 30 minutes of additional work outside of the class time. It's called asynchronous. You can also think of it as independent time or homework time, even though all of the work is done at home. But this is additional work. And you can see here a long list of different ways that teachers will assign this extra time. A lot of it will be preparing for the next day, reviewing. So independent work that students can do on their own. I wanted to give you an athletics update. I do see Todd Heil here. There he is. He's our athletic director. So I'll actually just turn it over to him.
For those of you that I haven't met, which might be, now I'm good. For those of you that I haven't met, which might be a lot of you, my name is Todd Heil, and I'm the new athletic director here at Santa Barbara High School. I was a teacher and a coach here for the past 21 years. So I'm really excited to be stepping into a new role and helping out on the more, the administrative on the athletic side. And I'm really excited for once we can get athletics up and running. But until that time, we do want you to know that those students that are enrolled in an athletic period, which is fourth period, will still have an athletic class during that time. It may not be like a normal Zoom session that you're used to. Our coaches will be checking in with their athletes on a daily basis, taking attendance, making sure they're getting their workouts done, having them do their workouts. But our goal is to make sure they're not staring at that screen for 60 minutes during that Zoom session, and trying to do something athletic within the confines that they're allowed to do. So if you have any questions on that, let us know. But each coach will be reaching out to their student athletes in the next couple of days once our classes are finalized, and then they'll be able to start having contact with those coaches starting on that Tuesday. For those of you that didn't notice, CIF, in order to fit everything in with the pandemic, has shrunk our 3 seasons down to 2. So all of our sports will begin play, I shouldn't say all, excuse me. Our sports will begin play in December with our fall sports, which is football, cross country, boys and girls water polo, boys and girls volleyball, and cheer will begin then. The rest of our sports will begin in what we will call the spring season, which will start around February and March, depending on when that is. And if you click on the athletics update that Dr. Simmons has on there, that'll take you to a parent square that we sent out that'll give you more information on when things begin. Another question that's come up a lot is, given the condensed version of the schedule, will student athletes be able to play multiple sports? We are going to encourage it, we're going to try it, and we're going to do everything to support it. It might not be what you would traditionally see. You might be playing games a lot and very few practices, but we're going to try and make as much work as we possibly can with a lot of communication between the coaches and the student athletes. So bear with us on that one, but we promise to do everything within our power to make sure that student athletes will be able to participate in as much as they want to and have been able to in the past. And if you have any other questions, obviously you can put them in the Q&A right now, but if you don't have time tonight, please don't be afraid to reach out. We'll be happy to get back to you and answer those as soon as we can.
Thank you, Todd. Okay. So let's pause for some Q&A. And I think, Cielo, there's a question for you there. So if you want to pop back in. So the question is, what do you recommend for an incoming freshman who is new to Santa Barbara? So, like, how can you recommend socially during this time? What should they do to connect with folks?
I would say usually when teachers have their breakout rooms, you can talk to other students while still doing work, but ask if you could connect with them on social media or some form of messages, and from there you can kind of grow a friend group. But because there are other students who are in the similar situations who are nervous, but during this time you kind of have to like put yourself out there, because it's online and you're muted half of the time. So don't be shy, because everyone is really, really nice. Like, I've been there. I was new to the school, new to Santa Barbara, and everyone was super nice to me and really welcoming. So you just kind of, put yourself out there and create that foundation of a friendship. That way, when restrictions like are lifted, you can meet with them and it's really natural and normal and easygoing. So that's, yeah.
And I know that, I met with the ASB executive group earlier this week, and I know they're wrapping their brains around how do we do like virtual orientations for our freshmen, and maybe we just, all of us take a group of freshmen and connect with them socially. We're also working on virtual clubs. Like, how do we do the club situation, but virtually? So a lot more information to come as we get creative and problem solve in this new virtual world that we are having to be in right now. Okay, any other questions for Todd Heil about athletics, about the schedule, for Cielo, anything? Okay, we'll keep going. So a couple things. We do expect students to behave during the Zoom meetings, of course. During the emergency remote time, we were not strict with attendance. But now we can't, that is not a luxury that we have. Students, we do have to take attendance every day for every period. Students are expected to attend. It says teachers are going to keep track of the tardies, not in Aries, but keep track of them. That way, you know, if a student is consistently late, it's sort of like, what's going on? And so that will trigger them to have a conversation with the student about how we can support them. Might have be a conversation with the parent, especially if it's like super late all the time. And so just know that that being on time is important. We are asking that all students have their videos on all the time, unless the teacher allows for students to turn a student or a group of students or all of them to turn them off for whatever reason. We do know that there's going to be exceptions. There's going to be days where students have bad days or they're, for whatever reason, don't want their video on, and that's going to be on an individual basis. And so just we're encouraging, and I think Ciela has said it a lot of times, just communicate with your teachers about what you need and questions you may have. And that includes you parents as well. And speaking of that, if for some reason your child is sick or can't attend the Zoom meeting, like they have the doctor's appointment, then we still want you to follow our attendance procedures and call in or email and let us know so that we mark them ill. And so it's an excused absence. If for some reason they are just refusing to get out of bed, or they're just like, I don't want to do this right now, I'm going to go to the beach, then that would be a truancy or an unexcused absence. And if those things are happening, then you really want to reach out to our dean, Mr. Mendoza, who you met earlier tonight. He is an expert in trying to figure out what's going on and to help students and to give resources and help students and families on finding ways that students then can engage with school. Okay, so a lot of you've received your schedule. I'm gonna do a deep breath because it's really confusing when you see it. It's new for us too, so we're confused sometimes. We're getting used to it though, for sure. But there's a lot of classes on there. So because it's a 4x4, right? So there's 8 year-long classes, but each class is also broken down into a semester or a term. And so that means there should be 16 classes on every student's schedule. And you'll notice that we try to, again, illustrate here how to figure it out. On the far left is the period 1, 2, 3, 4. The next column is semester, so or term. So you got semester 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, so again, semesters 1 and 2 happen in the fall. Semesters 3 and 4 happen in the spring. And again, we chose a schedule that's a little bit complicated. So it's a blend of year-long classes, which are really now just terms 1 and 2. So you can see freehand draw. Students have this freehand draw with the same teacher for term 1 and term 2. And then in middle of January, they're going to get a whole new group of classes, and that this student will have PE with a new teacher for terms 1 and 2. Then period 2, this is where it gets a little complicated. You'll notice that the student has intro to debate for term 1, so 9 weeks. And then after 9 weeks, they're going to get a new class called Law and Society with a new teacher. And then after 9 weeks, they're going to get a class called Dismissal, which I'll talk about in a moment. And you'll see that I'm teaching it if you have it. I'm not really teaching it, so we'll get to that in a moment. And then after 9 weeks of that, the student has Ethnic Studies and Social Justice. And so we tried our best to explain it here. If you have any questions about the schedule, you can email you can email your child's counselor, you can email us, and we'll help you understand it. And if for some reason, as you're looking at the schedule and you feel like something's wrong, something's missing, then you definitely want to email the counselor. So what is this thing called dismissal that I'm teaching? So first off, a lot of students have dismissal. I would say about 900 of our students has at least one dismissal period. And what we found is as we moved from 6 courses to 8 courses, we are able to give most students 8 courses, but then a lot of students didn't need 8 courses. Or we weren't able to give them all of that because we just don't have enough teachers. So we put in this thing called dismissal. this is a time when a student does not have a class. Even though my name is associated with it, I am not teaching it. There's no attendance taken, there's no NEO class. It's a free period where students just have a break. They can do their homework, they can do paper, the online tutoring, so they can connect with friends, like, hey, what happened in class today? I didn't understand, can you help me? So it's just a free time. During hybrid time, when we are on campus, students will just have a break in their day. If the dismissal period takes place during periods 2 or 3, we'll have designated spaces on campus that students can go to, and it's like sort of a quiet, safe place for them to be in. And when I say safe, I mean following the safety guidelines. So like, for example, the library or our theater. And then if the dismissal is periods 1 or 4, then the student can either just arrive later after period 1 or leave early after period 3. Who is my teacher? So you'll see on the schedule a teacher's name. So if you're wondering who they are, what they look like, if you click on this hyperlink, or if you go to our website, if you haven't visited our website yet, strongly suggest you do. We've worked really hard, Kate, especially Mrs. Villaseñor, on making it very user-friendly. So you'll see here that we have all of our teachers listed. We have their faces, their email, the classes they're teaching. So you can check out who your teachers are and beforehand and send them a message. You want to get a jump start on developing that relationship. Parents, again, here's their contact information. Feel free to email them as well. Again, here's your counseling team, the amazing team. If you have any questions about your student's schedule, if you feel like they don't have the classes that they're supposed to have, just email them. I will say though, there's a lot of emails happening, a lot of questions right now. They're doing the best they can, and the expectation is that every staff member responds within 48 hours, and the weekends don't count. So, but they're here for you. So please email your child's counselor if you have any questions about the schedule. Okay, pause for Q&A time. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Access to technology, of course, probably one of the most important things right now. And so I'll talk about that in a moment, but there is a question: can students make changes to their schedules? So yes, maybe. You're gonna request a change to your student's counselor. Now, not every request can be met. We have many different, there's classes that are full, there's classes that we're not offering. We're finding that when students say, I don't wanna take this class in the fall, I wanna take this class in the spring, it may work, but often it does not. So it doesn't hurt to ask. So go ahead and ask, but again, we can't meet every single request. So access to technology. I have a really, I'm really excited to share something with you. We have 2,222 students. Weird, 2222, right? And I looked today, we have as of today at about 4 o'clock, we have 1 student that we have not connected with, just 1, which is pretty crazy. And we have 27 other students that, based on our records, do not have internet or Wi-Fi installed, but we are working very closely with ETS, our District Educational Technology Services Department, to make sure that those students are connected either to internet either through a hotspot or through Wi-Fi. So 28 students out of our 2,222 students are not connected to reliable internet. So that's pretty awesome. I'm very proud of that. And that speaks to how hard the support staff here and our counseling staff and our administrative staff has been working to connect with our families to make sure that we have the smoothest beginning to the school year ever in the craziest time, right? So, but if there is some issues with your student's iPad, please send in a tech ticket at support@sbunified.org. You can also call the support helpline. I have heard, though, that there's a lot of phone calls coming in, so it's probably best if you send a support ticket in. I also saw the other day that a lot of new students have not picked up their iPads. So the district office has reached out to you. Please make sure you go pick up your iPad before the first day of school. You can go tomorrow, you can go on Monday. They have normal business hours, so just be cognizant of that. But it is important that you get that iPad. And then Mrs. Villasenor, her email's down below. She is our tech expert on campus, and she can help with some more questions that you may have. And you can always let a teacher, a counselor, administrator know, and we'll connect you to the right person. School resources, right here we have our school website, so I'll go to it again so you can see it. If you have not visited this yet recently or ever, please bookmark it. We are doing our best to make it the most resourceful place for you. It's new. Those of you who may have been parents before, you might go, whoa, that's pretty awesome, because it's way better, way more user-friendly to find what you're looking for. Let's see all our beautiful pictures. Some key things on here. You can access Aries, Parent Portal, Neo, Stop It. Stop It is our, it's anonymous reporting app for anything that students or you want to report, and it remains anonymous. It brings it to the administrative attention immediately. Remote learning resources, and again, additional information, key events, schedule. You'll see here is where we're going to link the webinars. So this is just a great place for you to go whenever you're looking for information. The district also has a very updated website with lots and lots of information. And you can see here that I'm going to click to this one because I want to. So this is our tech equity. And in here, it talks about supporting and also how to get help again. So again, another great place for you to go. Let me get back out of this. So the district also has many different resources on their websites that support you. Information about learning from home, which has NEO information on it for those who are new to NEO, and health and wellness resources, grab and go meals, and anti-racism resources for families. So how do we communicate? Meaning, how do we communicate with each other? We use Parent Square a lot. There's also, so we can communicate through students to students in that same format. It's our #1 method of communication, especially for doing large groups or the whole school. You might wonder, why do you receive your messages in the evening and you may have a friend or another parent that receives their messages like right away? And that's because of the way you've set up how you want to receive, when you want to receive the messages. So it's either digest, which is all at once in the evening, or instant, or maybe it's immediate, one of those two words. So if I were you and you want to receive things instantly, you may want to go into your Parent Square account and update that in your settings. I will warn you though, that starting on Monday, there's going to be a lot of communication, especially coming from the teachers. And so receiving things instantly might be a lot of dings on your phone, like bing, 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 or through email. You can also decide, do you get a text? Do you get an email? Do you get all of the above? So just go check out Parent Square. Everything is translated. And again, it's a great tool for communication, especially to large groups. Email is the most efficient way. And I've showed you many different, on our school website, we're working on a clear staff directory by department, but use email. And again, there's the 48-hour rule, and weekends don't count. So just use that, and we are here for you. Now, NEO is generally for communication between teachers and students. Now, parents you can communicate to the teachers through Neo. You can also communicate to me or your counselors through Neo, but I will warn you that counselors and administrators and other staff, not teachers, we aren't using Neo on a regular basis. Teachers use it every minute of the day. So they're constantly seeing the different communications. And so that's why I put here that Neo is probably best between the teacher and the student, and that you use just email for other communications with staff. And then of course, phone. Phone is the most personal. And if you're calling, it can be frustrating because often you don't get a live person, and that's for different reasons. Super busy, but during this time when not a lot of visitors are coming, we don't have everybody on staff all the time. So it's important that you leave a message, but if you don't hear back from us, I would just email. So what can you do to help your child? Well, check Neo. So on Neo, not only are you going to see a weekly agenda that's posted by the teachers, so you get to see all the different assignments that students are expected to do that week. You're going to see their grades. So teachers are expected to keep their Neo gradebook up on a weekly basis, so you can see what your student, what your child is missing, what grade they earned. So check it weekly, but do it with your child. Do it alongside them and ask them questions along the way. And if you're not sure about something, you can always just email the teacher. Ask them questions that don't result in one-word responses, like, what did you learn today? What was your favorite part? What was surprising to you today? Don't ask, how was your day? Because you know what, they're just gonna be like, meh, you know. So try to ask questions that will get at more than just a word from them. And encourage them to attend the office hours of their teachers, to email their teachers. You heard that over and over again from the student perspective from CLO. Creating a relationship is a two-way street. And teachers are right now working on all of their lesson plans to how do you build community in the digital world. So they're working on that. But it really does make it easier and even more effective if there's a two-way effort there of connecting and getting to know each other. And you can check their attendance in Aries. You will get a Parent Square message every evening if your child was marked absent. And so that should trigger you to go, oh, that's right, they were sick. And then you can respond and explain what's going on to the Parent Square message. You could call if you want as well. But also, if they get marked absent and you turn to your kid, you say, hey, what happened? Oh, no, I was there. Well, I would say that maybe they were and maybe they were not. So you could always encourage your student, or you can email the teacher and say, I think my child got marked absent today. What happened? And then we can always correct and fix things. Or that's a great time where the teacher can say, no, they weren't there today. And then now we get down to the root of what's going on, right? And always you can reach out to Maria Jimenez or any of us administrators for additional hints and tips to help you helping you help your child. This is my 21st year being an educator. I've been around teenagers, I feel like my whole life. So I think I have some good ideas that can help you as well. So how do you get involved? I'm going to turn this over now to our PTSA parent who's here, Jessica. So Jessica, come on in and talk a little bit about the PTSA.
Absolutely. Thanks, Elise. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight and giving up some of your evening. I know it is very daunting in this brave new world that we're in, and I really, as a parent, just want to express my gratitude to Elise and all of the amazing educators and staff and teachers at our school. I have a recently graduated senior and an incoming sophomore, and the community at Santa Barbara High is amazing. And for those incoming freshman parents, it can seem really overwhelming. And the advice that I can best offer as someone who is in your shoes is to get involved in whatever way you can, because what seems like a huge, overwhelming place all of a sudden becomes very intimate and very friendly, and you start to know people all over the place, and it's a really wonderful experience. And so while, like everyone, we're adapting at the PTSA to our new world, I am the PTSA secretary, and Jen Griffin is our president. We have Barbara Walker, who is our treasurer. We would love to have more people involved in our board, and there are many ways that you can get involved through the PTSA board, as well as joining certain committees like our hospitality committee. We also have our sustainability committee. So for those of you who may be interested in looking at greening our campus more, that's a great option. There is, as we look forward to hopefully an opened campus, we would love to see how we can engage you through our student store. And there's an option where you may be able to help out with lunches. And it's really, having done that for 4 years, it's really cool to see the kids on campus kind of in their own environment. So that's something that we hope will happen later in the year once we've hopefully gotten over this hump with COVID. And as far as in joining the PTSA, we are basically looking at partnering with the foundation and seeing how we can get people better engaged. But I think the best method that I can give you right now is to just reach out to Jen Griffin. Her information is on the screen. You're also welcome to reach out to me. I can be contacted through Parent Square, so Jessica Foley on Parent Square. And I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have for this evening, but welcome to our community. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jessica. And now I'm going to turn it over to Katie Jacobs, who will talk to you about the foundation for Santa Barbara High School, as well as the amazing collaboration that's happening.
Great. Well, hi, everyone. I just want to echo welcoming you to Santa Barbara High School. And I got to tell you, our administrative team here are a bunch of superstars. They have been working tirelessly since the beginning of summer, first to prepare for hybrid, and then they had to switch gears for distance learning. And I just got to say, I'm so impressed with our entire team at Santa Barbara High School. So go Dons. Thank you all. First of all, as Elise mentioned, I'm Katie Jacobs. I'm the director of the Foundation for Santa Barbara High School. We are a private nonprofit that was actually designed just to support and fill gaps in funding at Santa Barbara High School. It was created by a group of parents back in 2007. And since that time, with the help of parents like all of you, we've raised over $9 million in that time for the school. So everything from a few capital projects like the gym and now the Peabody Stadium, which hopefully we will get to use this year, to academic needs at the school every year too, yes. And as Jessica said, you know, trying times sometimes create some pretty great partnerships. And I'm just thrilled that this year our PTSA and our foundation are joining forces for the first time this year ever to do one combined fundraising drive. Even though we are doing distance learning, the things that the foundation and the PTSA funds are still critical for your kids. Elise mentioned that Spencer Barr and the College and Career Center is something that the foundation has funded, and we need to continue funding him. As your kids, I know most of you are probably parents of freshmen. As your kids go through school, you'll see how indispensable Spencer and the work that Seno do over at the College and Career Center is. So we need to keep raising funds for those. This year, we're also adding an additional mental health counselor to take care of all of your kids' needs there. And as COVID continues, we will also keep up our efforts with something we call SBHS Strong, and that is helping with sort of direct financial aid to families and students that are really financially impacted by COVID and other disasters as well. So yeah, that's kind of my little pitch. You're going to hear a lot more from us through the year. We will communicate through Parent Square with you directly. We do have a fundraising campaign. It starts sort of in a couple weeks. If you have any questions for me, you can email me or call me at my office at the high school. It's the high school's number and then my extension there. And yeah, our door is always open. Well, we'll be open when we're all open with a mask. and social distancing. So thanks all, and welcome to Santa Barbara High.
Thank you, Katie and Jessica. So we are at the end, not only are we at the end of time, but we're at the end of our slideshow. So it's perfect timing. It's 8:30. How perfect is that? But I'll stick around for a little bit if there's any additional questions. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so we can see everybody. And so let's see. I see a question there about, are we going to receive a school ID? So the answer is yes. We are going to have school IDs, and it's sort of one of those things we realized we didn't need right away. So we're focusing on what's essential, and so look for more information about the school ID and how we'll collect pictures from students. Where we might do a sort of a selfie drive where students submit an appropriate selfie to be on their school ID. But we're just trying to find, again, creative ways that are safe to do the things that we normally do. Any other questions? I see that my admin team have been furiously answering all of your questions, which is awesome. Anything else? Well, thank you for being here this evening. Oh, I see there might be a question there. Let's see here. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Again, I'll answer the questions that are there, but I want to remind you that we're recording this in English and Spanish. It will be posted on our website as well as the slide deck. You can also view the one from this afternoon at 1:30. The slide deck is the same, but the questions were different. So you can hear some of the different conversations we're having. So textbooks. So we collected all of the textbooks from students, and what we're going to be doing now for the next week or so is figuring out the textbooks that students need. And so we're working on what we're calling a materials distribution plan. And that's going to start the second week of school, where we're going to give books to students, as well as like maybe an art kit for their art class, or maybe they're taking the culinary arts class, and so they're going to need a kit. So we're working on all of that, and just look for more information soon. So can I get the email for the PTSA? I will copy and paste that from their slide deck. So be patient with me for a second. And also on our website page, there is the information for the PTSA as well. Hold on. Well, we'll get to you. We'll get to it to you as soon as we can. I'm sorry, I'm having issues with my technology right now. Any other questions while I get the PTSA email address? Oh, maybe they already gave that to you faster than I could. Thank you, team. Well, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And once a dawn, always a dawn. Welcome to Santa Barbara High School. Stay in touch, reach out. We're here for you. Have a good evening. Thank you.